Hello and welcome to our Reboot review. I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.
And this week we are discussing the episode Bad Bob. This episode originally aired September 21st, 1995 in Canada and October 14th, 1995 in the United States. Alrighty, so let us start off with the number one film at the box office this week, Dave.
Well, I'd be mildly surprised if last week's film decided to stick around. I'm not exactly sure if there was much
Oh,
anything else
it's a
that could have topped it around that
it's a
time.
big famous one. It's a crime film.
Just going with a little bit of a hint. No, that may have even been too soon. Because the only one real big thing that I could supposedly think of would be Star Wars, but I don't think
No,
that
it's
comes for another 5 years.
no, it's a crime film, Dave.
Hmm.
Any ideas? Takes place in Seattle. Directed by David Fincher.
Oh, even with that, I've got nothing. Damn.
I don't know if you've ever seen this movie though. It's this little movie
Hmm.
that probably nobody's ever heard of. A little movie called Seven.
It's a case that I've seen it, but also a marvelous case of most likely never watched it because there's a marvelous thing that some people are like, oh man, for advertising, let's just use a single letter or a number and it'll be perfect. And in some cases it is, in other cases it's not. But in the third case, it's also completely ruins your advertising because it's like, didn't they release a movie seven years ago? It's like, yeah, it was something different entirely. It's like, that seems weird.
Okay, but the title Seven is very important to the plot
No, it's also understandable.
because it's a movie about a killer who's like killing people based on the seven deadly sins. It's so good, Dave. You have to see it.
I understandable, but also that one contrarian part of my mind that's like pretty much has the idea's most likely been done, but most likely not in this way.
What's in the box? Oh my god.
And thus the line for that particular thing immediately comes to mind.
What's in the box? It's such a good movie. Anyway,
Duly noted. I'm adding it to the list.
put it at the top of the list, damn it. Alrighty, so let us move on to the number one song in America this week.
Hmm. But that. And especially from one last week. Uh, nah, it's only been so long, I suppose. It wouldn't be surprising if Fergie was still up at the top of the list. I'm not sure who much could supposedly top it.
It's still Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio.
It is those ones.
Yes.
Yeah, again, know of it, but just the titles of the names can't get that clear.
Oh my god, Dave. Anyway, let us get into the episode Bad Bob. Megabyte
Yes.
attacks the principal office to steal mainframe's core energy. This causes a game to be corrupted and land on the principal office. Bob and Enzo have to get the energy core being transported by Mega Truck. Oh! A transformed Megabyte back to the office before it can leave the game. Oh my god, I think I found my favorite episode so far, Dave.
In the one sense, the other sense, or other particular thing within the story.
So first off, it's called Mega Truck.
Yes, because it's megabyte fused and he looks like a truck.
Okay, so whoever wrote this episode really liked the Mad Max movies. Like a lot.
Yes. Because
Because
the entire premise of the game is Mad Max the movie.
it is, well, it's a combination of the Mad Max movies, but And I mean, the game I think is directly called Road Warrior, isn't it? I
I
feel like
believe
they
so.
they refer
Something
to it
like
as Road
this.
Warrior. But oh my god, do they love the Mad Max movies? Which I understand. The Mad Max movies are great.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the Mad Max movies? I'm worried about this now.
Uh, as it stands with the old movie as well as the newest movie, I haven't gotten to watching those ones as of yet.
Okay. Controversial opinion. Just watch Fury Road. Like, the first three are good, but I would say that really, if you watch Fury Road, that's enough.
Duly noted.
Because Fury Road's also just a great film. Okay. Um, oh, yeah, there's also a Planet of the Apes reference. I don't know if you caught that.
No, pretty much as the game shows up, there's a character who, surprisingly enough, I know he's seen a couple times through the series, but this is his first appearance, and his first appearance is the reference to Planet of the Apes.
Maniacs! They blow it up! Oh, I
Well,
was having.
technically, they did it. It's like they just stole its power. Get the line right, sir. It was a good line. Still, get it right for the situation.
Oh my god, I loved this episode, Dave. It was so like insanely just a Mad Max movie, but for kids. Oh, and the user's car looks so much like the Batmobile from like the Tim Burton films.
Yeah, to a fairly decent extent. Like maybe the fin might have been a little bit longer and shaped in a certain particular way, but no, they could pretty much stick to the argument. It's like, oh man, they put the Batmobile in this episode.
I mean, they might have changed a few things so that they couldn't get sued over it, but like
Yeah,
it was the
yeah.
Batmobile. Excuse me. So yeah, I loved my time with this episode. It was dumb and it had a bunch of Mad Max references, and I loved it. What did you think of it, Dave?
With this one, it's definitely interesting because, especially with the premise, it sticks in your mind when you watch through the episode. It sticks in your mind fairly well. But it's still interesting that it's still a case of Megabyte is kind of pushing up a little bit more with his attempts to get what he wants. And it's like, wait a minute, I have a flippin' army. Attack the principal office.
Yeah, Megabyte's actually kind of like a villain in this episode, not a bumbling moron.
Like, I think at the most that you could supposedly say was, and not even that, because it was a case of with the battle going on and the confrontation of Megabyte and Bob up on top of the energy tank there, it's Enzo flying in on his little cart that bumps into him and knocks him into it, causing the result of the mega truck inside of the game.
Mega truck.
And then, of course, the going inside of the game of, oh man, you need to win the game to not get nullified and all the case of that. But this alternative situation of if the game is won or lost, you get nullified. But if you don't get that energy back to the principal office, the entire system's going to be completely powered down. So, oh man, we got to get this mega truck turned around.
Yeah, I love that because it isn't just, oh, we have to win. It's like, oh no, like the win condition has changed. Like we have to kind of like come up with a plan. And yeah, I liked that. I like that it was a bit different than normal. It's not just, oh, we have to win this game. It's, oh no, we have to do this other thing so that like we don't all die.
In those sort of cases. And I think the other interesting things are the one or two little seeds or additional things that are planted within this episode that show off particular sorts of stuff or puts a couple of additional thoughts in your head. The one big particular thought is Dot is pissed.
Oh yeah, because Bob keeps like bringing Enzo into games and stuff.
And again, through no fault of his own, but kind of the case of Enzo being Enzo, follows his idol and whatnot. and the case of he wants to teach him, but probably isn't doing the best job or safest job of supposedly teaching him the ways of doing those sorts of things.
Yeah, like everybody kind of has a point in this, which is what I like. It's like Dot isn't unreasonable, but Bob also is kind of like, well, I'm not like, like he's not doing anything necessarily wrong either, which I like.
And also a case of you could maybe keep a better eye on him, stop him from dashing off inside of a GameCube.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Alrighty. Was there anything else about this episode you wanted to talk about, Dave?
I think the only one other point that I want to bring up is along with Enzo, Frisket is along for the ride inside of the game, and they're both zipping around on his cart. And it's the case of, oh man, huge giant machine that we're most likely going to ram into. And the dog's like, well, forget this, takes the steering wheel and steers them off to the side, takes them off in their own little trek into a dangerous minefield. It's just like left, right, to the left, too hard right, and you take a quick glimpse into what Frisket is seeing, and it's like, I see where all the bulbs are, and I need to try and get through it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Mm.
So next week we'll be discussing an episode called Painted Windows.
It's
This one makes me excited.
Oh, you have no idea, my sweet boy.
Hexadecimal accesses the system's paint program, and mainframe is her canvas. Soon she begins to wreak havoc, causing a communications blackout and melting all forms of transport and glitch. This sounds incredible.
Oh, you have no idea, sweetie.
But it's hexadecimal and she has a paint program, which is great.
Pretty much the one thing that comes with most typical programs nowadays, and the things that people either don't look at much anymore to look with typical art. Oh man, what kind of devastation can you wreak now?
Oh, this looks like so much fun. Anyway, until next time, I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.